A very warm welcome to this morning yoga practice. So I'd like everybody to start this morning by lying down on their backs. And I'm just going to do a nice short reading while you settle in, while you really arrive on your mat. It's called Breath Before Dawn. As I wake this morning, I begin to visualize my yoga practice. I make tea and gaze outside my window. All the while in the background, I wonder what is holding me back from the mat, or from meditation, or from sound. I know that all roads lead to my practice, no matter how many small tasks I put in front of me. I see these roadblocks and wonder why resistance crops up around something so worthwhile. My mind trips me up. The transition from sleep to practice is not always the way I intend. The judgments start to creep in before I remind myself to let go and accept where I am. And I remember that yoga practice is a joy and a privilege and something I choose. So I plunge ahead and watch the resistance burn up in the warmth of my body moving through space and the sound of my breath before dawn. So, joining you here down on my mat, on my back, we're going to start to bring some movement into our bodies. So can you all bend your knees in, please, so that your feet are flat on the floor and your knees are facing the ceiling, your chin is tucked down to your chest. Bring your fingertips so they're just resting around the site of your navel. And we'll start to do some nice, long, slow inhales and exhales. 3-part breath, breathing down into the diaphragm, bringing the breath up through the ribs, and then up into the upper chest, into the clavicles, the collarbones, and then emptying from the top down, exhaling. Drawing up Mula Bandha if you're happy to do so, so just squeezing up the pelvic floor muscles at the very end of the exhale, and then allowing everything to soften as you feel the build of the inhale. Down into the diaphragm, up into the ribs, and up into the chest. Exhaling from the top down, just allowing everything to soften and settle, and again pulling up the pelvic floor muscles at the very end of the exhale if it suits you to do so. I'd like you to do about 3 more of these breaths, please. Okay, so drawing the right foot away from the floor, bring your hands around the back of that right thigh and just gently draw the right thigh towards you. Allow the foot to be soft, subtle. Tuck your chin down towards your chest, and when you're ready, just allowing the breath to flow in a nice, easy manner, start to rotate that right ankle very slowly, drawing a big circle on the ceiling with that right big toe. Just feeling how the flexibility in that right ankle is, and then going the other way. Allowing the foot to become still. Inhale, and as you exhale, draw that right thigh a little near towards the chest, and it's towards the sort of outside edge of that right side of the ribs and chest. Allow your thigh just to be heavy, hanging out here, just dropping down, just opening up the hip flexors. This is a warm-up, so keep it all nice and gentle. And then inhale, and as you exhale, extend that leg towards the ceiling, pointing through the toe, and then flexing through the heel, pointing through the toe, and flexing through the heel. So toes are coming down towards my shin, and I'm drawing that leg a little further towards me, keeping the tailbone nice and anchored on the mat. If you need a belt to support this action, please feel free to pop a belt around your ball of your foot and just draw that leg gently towards you. From here, whether you're using a belt or not, we're going to slide our hands up the back of the leg, and we're going to raise our head up towards that straightened leg. Just soft, easy breath flowing. Now, some of you may be able to reach the foot. It doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're comfortable and you feel that lengthening. Inhale as you exhale, gently walk your hands back down the leg, lower your head back to the floor, bend that right knee in, and then drop that right foot to the floor, left side. So bringing the left leg up, hands come around the thigh, and we circle that left ankle. Nice, big, juicy circles on the ceiling with your big toe, just drawing the ankle, the toes around in rotation, and then go the other way. Feeling how the back of the sacrum is just melting into the floor. Allow the foot to become still. Inhale as you exhale, draw that left thigh towards the tummy, towards the left side of the chest, the left side of the ribs, and just let the thigh hang out here. Just let it be heavy, dropping down onto that side. Chin is tucked down to chest to release the vagus nerve. Neck is long. A soft smile to the mouth, relaxing the forehead. Inhale. As you exhale, now lengthen that left leg up towards the ceiling. Point the toes. Flex the heel. Point the toes. Flex the heel. Point the toes. As you flex heel, toes come down towards the shin, and you draw that leg towards you. So the leg is nice and straightened, but don't lock the back of the knee. Just drawing the leg down towards you, keeping the tailbone nice and grounded into the mat. And then we're going to do exactly the same sequence as we did on the other side. We're going to inhale, we're going to draw our legs up the back of the leg. Draw our hands rather up the back of the leg, coming towards the foot, using the strap if you need to do so. And my head has come away from the mat to do this. Inhaling, exhaling. Walk your hands back down the leg. Head comes back to the floor. Drop that left foot down to the floor. Bring your knees as wide as the edges of the mat. Your feet as wide as the edges of the mat. And then just roll your knees to the right. Come back to center and roll your knees to the left. Come back to center. One more time to the right here. And to center, and to the left here. And to center. So we're going to come into bridge now. So if you've got anything underneath your head, please remove it. You need to have a nice long neck for this posture. So chin is tucked down to chest, and your hands are down either side of you on the mat. Your feet are, we're going to do bridge a slightly different way. Your feet are together to start with. Now I'd like you to roll your lower back into the floor. So we're going to do a few little pelvic tilts here. So really getting a sense of rolling the back of the lumbar at the back of the sacrum into the mat and then rolling away. So you're rolling onto your tailbone and towards your buttocks. Rolling, really pressing the lower back down into the floor and then rolling onto your tailbone. So from underneath, you'll see that there's a little bit of space. So when I roll my lumbar and sacrum into the floor, there's no space at all. And then when I roll onto my tailbone, you can see there's a little gap in behind my lumbar and sacrum. We'll do this a few more times. Feet are together, inside edges of the thighs, knees and shins are together. Okay. So we're going to now place our hands by our sides if they weren't there already. When you're ready, we're going to inhale, press the lower back into the floor, just as we did on those lovely lumbar rolls. And then when you're ready to exhale, just gently slide the spine away from the mat, keeping the inside edges of the feet, the ankles, the shins, the knees and the thighs together. Inhale at the top and exhale to roll down. Then we'll repeat this one more time with the legs together. Inhale, press the lower back into the floor, that little pelvic tilt. Exhale, roll up. Inhale at the top, exhale, roll down. Now I'd like you to move your feet so they're a little bit apart but not quite hip width yet. So we're going to do this in increments, just playing with our bridge. It's really good to mix things up a little bit. So when you're ready to do so, inhale, press the lower back into the floor. Exhale, roll up into bridge. Inhale at the top and roll back down. Inhale, just gently pressing the lumbar into the mat. Exhale, roll up into bridge. Inhale at the top and exhale, roll down. Keeping the breath slow and flowing. Good. So when we've done that one twice, we're going to move our feet now to hip width. So if you have a block, it's a really good idea to place it between your feet so it's a long ways down the mat, the same direction as your mat is. Now please, if you can, bring your heels in comfortably towards the buttocks. So if you're in this position, it's very hard to really feel bridge. What we want to be able to feel and have the sensation of is when we come up into a bridge, because it's really about strengthening our sacrum or our lumbar. When we come up into bridge, we want ideally to have the knees and the ankles stacked over one another. So rather than being like this in bridge, it's better for us to be with the knees and ankles stacked, and then you'll see here that the back is nice and lifted. If I just pull my t-shirt away, you'll see it's a nice lift. So we're going to inhale at the top. We're going to exhale to roll down, really allowing each of those lumbar vertebrae to all just gently edge their way back down to the mat. So it'll be from the thoracic region into the lumbar, into the sacrum. And let's repeat. Inhale, press the lower back into the floor. Exhale, come up. Again, just seeing here how much of the spine has come away, excuse me, from the mat. Inhale at the top. And exhale to gently glide. Thoracic, lumbar, sacral, and then the coccyx back down to the mat. Can you repeat that twice more in your own breath sequence, please? Inhaling. Exhaling, floating up. Inhaling at the top. And exhaling to roll back down, feeling every single vertebra speak as it touches the ground. Inhale at the bottom.
Exhale to come up. Inhale at the top. Exhale to roll down. Lift both feet away from the floor and simply rock left and right with the inside edges of the feet together. And then drop your feet to the mat, and this time just gently move your block out of the way. We're going to have our feet slightly wider apart than usual. Inhale, drop your lower back down into the floor. Exhale, come up into bridge. So my knees are slightly splayed now, so I'm going to come up into bridge. Then I'm going to allow the knees to drop towards one another. They might touch, they might not. It depends on how far wide your feet are apart, but I'm not up as high. If you have a quick look now at my back, I'm not quite as high as I was before, but my knees are squeezing together, and then I'm going to allow the knees to move away from one another, and I'm going to twice more allow the knees to roll together, and then the knees to roll away from one another. Again, allow the knees to roll together, and then the knees to roll away from one another. And then toe heel your feet back in so that they're hip width apart. Press down through your feet, come up a little bit higher. Stay here, your hands are beside you on the mat. Inhale, bring your arms overhead, allowing the arms now to rest on the floor behind your head, keeping your chin tucked to your chest. Breathing soft and slow here. Suspending in this lovely opening through bridge. And then when you're ready to exhale, we're going to start to bring the spine down. We're going to snow angel those arms all the way around the sides of the body, coming down as the spine begins to unravel, uncurl. And the tailbone and the palms reach the mat at the same time, turning palms over to feel the mat underneath you. Chin tucked to chest, lift your feet away from the floor and simply sway left and right. Okay, so we're going to roll on to our right hand side now. We're going to coming up to seated. We're going to come into a wide leg stretch. So, bringing the legs comfortably apart. And if you want to sit on a block, you might just find it a little bit more comfortable as it tips the pelvis forward. Right, so if you do have another block or a brick, you might want to pop it in front of you. So we're going to sit up nice and tall, really nice and tall. Lengthen through the back of the hamstrings by flexing the feet. So toes are coming down to our shins, just as we did when we did that hamstring stretch earlier on. And all I'm going to do, sitting nice and tall, is I'm going to hinge from my hip joints. I'm going to start to hinge forward. So I'm dropping my tummy and my chest down towards the floor, down towards this brick in front of me. And I'm not allowing my back to collapse. I'm keeping my shoulders back, I'm keeping my spine nice and long, and all I'm doing is I'm hinging from the hips. Now if you feel that this is too much in your hamstrings, have a little bend in your knees, that's absolutely fine. Or bring your legs a little bit further towards one another, because it may be that you've gone a little bit too wide, you've overbegged the posture. So I'm hinging forward, and I'm going to start to slide my hands down my legs, looking forward, just having a little wriggle through the hips, through the sitting bones, making sure you're really comfortable here. Inhale, and as you exhale, some of you may be able to bring your hands and to gently take hold of your toes or your feet. Please bend your elbows so that you're not really straining here, and the shoulders are dropping away from your ears. And then can you inhale, and as you exhale, this time, as you hinge from the hips, can you then round the back and just drop down? Now this is where a block is quite nice just to rest your forehead on, and you can really come into quite a surrendering posture here. keep the breath flowing in your back, in and out through the back and the sides of the ribs. Just keep the breath flowing. Allowing the hamstrings just to find their lengthening, their softening. And you'll find maybe you want to have a little wriggle halfway through. Somewhere in there, there's a little need for the body to have a little wriggle. Maybe you can drop a little bit further forward. And then when you're ready to inhale, simply coming up nice and slowly. So we'll just gently draw the legs together and give them a little wiggle. A little rub around the back of the knees, if you feel that's what you need to do. And then we're going to come into Janu Shirshasana. So bringing the left leg in front of you, the right foot comes and the sole of the right foot just gently nestles against the inside edge of that left leg. Now, for everybody, we're all different shapes. Maybe this right knee is up in the air here and it's not really very comfortable. So you might need to use a support. So if you have a block or a cushion, you've got lots of levels, whatever you need to do to give your knee the best support you can, so that you're not in any way going to be uncomfortable in this position. And as I said, sitting on a block, drawing back the fleshy parts of the buttocks will help you to extend forward. So close your eyes and just climb in to a sense of grounding down into the block that you're sitting on or the ground. Just grounding down, feeling your sitting bones connect to the earth. And then just slide the little finger sides of your hands into your hip creases. So you just get a sense here of what we're going to do. We're going to do exactly the same as we did in our wide leg stretch. We're going to tip forward. We're going to hinge from our hips rather than collapsing our back where we'll get stuck. So I'd like you just to sway forward and back a few times, keeping the back nice and straight. Feeling that hinge joint in the hips. It's not all about the back, it's about this nice open hingeness through your hips. And then come back up to seated. Make sure you're nice and aligned. Have your fingertips touching the mat. When you're ready to invert your palms so they're going to reach towards the ceiling, and inhale, reach up. Look up towards those hands and exhale, reach forward down over this lengthened leg. Now your hands can be anywhere that's going to feel comfortable for you. So that might be either side of your thigh. It might be either side of your knee, your calf, your shin, your foot. It doesn't matter where your hands are. I'd like everybody just to feel a real sense of comfort. So let's have a little wriggle and a jiggle here. Just really aligning sitting bones into the earth if they're not really nice and grounded already. Inhale, remember that hinge that came from here. We're going to hinge a little bit further. Inhaling, exhaling. Now if that left knee is really just not comfortable, bend it a little bit. If the hamstring's roaring at you and you're thinking, I don't like this one, we want you to like these postures. So just making sure you find every little bit of comfort you can. Inhale as you exhale, hinging a little bit further forward. And then allow the back to round. And maybe you can drop your forehead down towards your knee. Your hands can be around the foot. Wherever you feel a sense of release and comfort. And we'll take 3 nice juicy breaths here. Okay, so bringing the head back up from wherever it was and walking your hands gently back up towards you. Let's lift that right knee up. If you had a block underneath it, just pop it over to your other side, and we're going to do the same sequence on the left side. So bringing the left knee in, right leg is extended out, allowing the sole of the left foot to gently nestle on the inside edge of that right thigh. Sitting up nice and tall. Baby finger sides of the hands are going to hinge. We're going to be placed in between the top of the thigh and the hips, and we're just going to hinge backwards and forwards just a few times, just getting at the hang, the sort of feel of where we are for this posture. Leaning forward, coming back, leaning forward and coming back. One more time, leaning forward and coming back. And then we bring our fingertips to the mat. Just get a sense of feeling the floor. And when you're ready to invert the palms to face the ceiling, inhale, reach up. Look up towards your fingers and then hinging forwards from the hips, coming down over that right leg, hands settling wherever they're going to feel good. Inhaling, exhaling, hinging forward from the hips. Inhale as you exhale, hinging from your hips, coming a little bit lower. And then inhale as you exhale, hinge from your hips, and perhaps you can bring your hands a little bit lower down the leg, it doesn't matter where, and drop your head down so you really are curving the whole of the back of the spine. Inhaling, exhaling. 2 more breaths here. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. And then simply walking your hands back up towards you, lifting up that left knee and just shaking out both legs, giving the backs of the legs a nice little bit of a rub. Good. So I'd like to come into a bit more of a shoulder stretch, but still seated. So we're going to come back into wide leg, sitting nice and tall through the spine. Then I'd like you to bring your right arm behind your back. And can you bring your left hand back and take hold of your right wrist and gently draw the right shoulder backwards. So try not to twist too much through the body. I'm going to try and keep the body level, but I'm drawing that right shoulder backwards by just gently tugging on that right hand with my left hand. Inhale, exhale. Feeling the right shoulder moving backwards and the left hand just gently tugging. Then can you simply just change hands, so draw the left hand in, the left lower arm in behind the lower back, taking hold of the left hand with the right hand this time, or the left wrist with the right hand, drawing back the left shoulder this time. Inhaling, exhaling, drawing it backwards. Inhaling, exhaling. Okay, and then release the left hand. Now, I want you just to stack your shoulders. Allow your fingertips to touch the floor. Close your eyes and just feel a sense of your shoulders stacked over your hips. So your default mode is possibly shoulders rolled forward. I'd like everyone to take a big deep breath in, and as they exhale, just relax that uprightness and go into what your normal default is, and it's probably that. And that's okay, most people's are. So having a little look at that, we've gone from those lovely shoulders that we brought back to our default mode, which is probably that. So let's come back into that nice sense of uplift through the spine so that the shoulders are stacked over our hips. Now this time we're going to bring our hands behind us and we're going to, if we can, take hold of our opposite elbows with our fingertips. So gently squeezing the shoulder blades together behind the back, walking the fingertips so they're gently holding on to the opposite elbow. Inhaling, exhaling here. Feeling a nice lengthening through the spine. The shoulders are coming back and down. We're really comfortable here. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, allow your fingers to just move away from the elbows. Slide your hands back down. And just allow your fingertips to touch the floor. Close your eyes and feel that sense of that opening through the front of the shoulders, the front of the chest, that lovely stacking from shoulders down to hips. Nice straight spine. Feel the openness through the front of the chest and enjoy. So one more big breath here. Okay, and then we're going to start to slide the legs back towards one another and give those legs a little bit of a shake. So I'd like to come into a side plank today. So if you know that it's a little bit tough on your wrists, we can do it on our elbows. We're going to build up to full posture, so please take it nice and easy. So moving onto your hands and knees. Just finding a sense of comfort wherever you are. So a little sway through your knees, through your wrists, making sure you're really comfortable here. And then I'm going to bring my left leg back and I'm going to tuck my left toes under. Then I'm going to bring my right toes back and tuck my right toes under. So I'm in a nice straight line here in full plank. Nice long line. Now from here, we're going to simply drop ourselves down onto the floor and bring your left hand in front of you across the mat so you're on your elbow. Roll onto your left hand side and we're just going to see how this feels. To plank on our elbows, just see how this is going to feel. So I'm going to press down and I'm going to lift my hips up and see how that feels. And then drop down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, drop down. Now on this next lift, you may like to bring your right hand, place it on your hips, or have it up towards the ceiling. Coming down nice and slowly and elegantly dropping your hips back down to the mat. So you can do that, you can repeat that one more time. Let's see how that feels. Or if you're ready to, we can roll onto the other side. So my right elbow and hand are nicely grounded into the mat. My left hand is here and all I'm going to do is lift my hips up on an inhale and exhale, slowly lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, slowly lower down. Inhale, lift up. And this time perhaps the hand wants to join in. But we come down nice and evenly and slowly. Good. And you might like to repeat that one more time on this side. Or you might like to join me. In a seated, we're going to come into a twist. So when you're ready to, again, sitting either on a block, please don't hurry if you're repeating your side plank. We're going to come into a twist before we come into full side plank, just to give ourselves a little bit of a rest for a moment. So crossing your right foot over your left leg, bringing your left arm behind you and your right elbow just inside this right knee. Sit up nice and tall, twisting around to the left. And then inhale as you exhale. Bring your hands all the way around to the front and simply glide around to the other side. So this time the right hand is behind me and my left arm is just gently nudging that right knee towards the left side. Inhale as you exhale. Release. Other side, this time left foot comes over the right leg. We'll start off as the same side as we did on the other. So it's my left arm that's just on the inside of my left knee and my right hand has come behind me. So it's the same leg and arm to start with. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhaling, we're twisting to the left, to the right. And then we're going to inhale. Arms come out wide as we gently twist the other side. This time it's the left arm behind me and my right elbow is going to gently nudge that left knee over to the right hand side. Twisting around to the left. Inhaling, exhaling. And then release. So we're going to attempt the side plank. If you don't want to, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. But roll back onto your hands and knees. Coming into full plank to start with. Then we're simply going to roll onto our left foot, our left side, and lift the right arm up. Remember to breathe. And then gently come down. Sway over to the other side. And gently come down. Dropping your knees to the floor and dropping your buttocks back to your heels to rest in pose of a child. Now I can give you a variation on that if you just feel it's too much for wrists. So if you want to come into elbow plank, gently, just sway from one side to the other. Just sway. So I'm coming onto the balls and toes of my feet and I'm just swaying my hips one side to the other and then I'm going to drop down. Or you can come into your regular plank. You can step one foot forward. So I've started with my right foot coming forward and I'm coming up into my plank on this side, but I have a little bit more stability because the right leg is forward, and then coming down and doing exactly the same on the other side. So lots of variations there for you to attempt a little bit of bone density improvement, a little bit of building up these nice strong bones to help prevent osteoporosis. But you've got options here so that if you do have wrists that you know aren't too happy when you're in full plank, or you know that you're just not wanting to attempt that, just have a little play with any of those other options. Good. Okay, so we're going to come to standing now. So tucking your toes under, raising your knees away from the floor, head's coming down, and we're dropping our weight back into those heels. Coming into a nice full dog. Inhaling, exhaling, chin is dropping down towards the chest, crown of the head coming down towards the floor. Nice straight arms, nice straight legs, but our weight's coming backwards into those heels. So the back is nice and lengthened. And then slowly start to walk your feet up towards your hands. Coming into a forward fold. Now my knees are a little bit soft here, a little bit bent. If your hands don't come anywhere near the floor, bend your knees as much as you need to so that your fingertips can be on the floor. So I'm going to inhale and exhale here, just allowing my back to be nice and long. And then I'm going to start to drop my head down and slowly lengthen through my legs, dropping myself down towards my legs. Tummy's coming down towards my thighs. The backs of the legs are extended and I'm dropping my head down towards the floor. Nice, easy forward fold here. So your hands might be up here, you might be here. It doesn't matter where you are, but I'd like you to really feel a sense of dropping. Inhaling, exhaling. And then bend your knees and simply roll up to standing. Good.
So when you come down again, you better tell me.
So I'm here.
Okay, fine. Anything?
Yeah, get rid of the sofa if you can.
I'll push it away. Well, hold on, let me move it onto it, please. How long are you through it, do you think?
Another 10 minutes, I'm done.
So when you want to come down, just tell me again. Although I suppose you could finish wide, I'm not sure. Okay, I'll put it out when I get. Okay, the sound's still going. Okay. Patty, not Patty. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So here we are. My legs are a little bit longer than an arm's length apart. I'm going to bend my knees so that my knees and ankles are nicely stacked. And I'm going to inhale and I'm going to raise my arms up. Straightening through my legs, I'm going to bring my hands down the center line. And I'm going to touch the floor, flip my wrists, and I'm going to repeat that. Inhale, reach up, lengthen through your legs and your arms. Exhale, come down the center line, bending your knees, dropping your fingertips to the floor, flipping the wrists. One more time, come up. And exhale, come down the center line. Stay here. Now, if you can you sink a little bit further down? And just see how that feels. So be very careful of knees here. If you know that your knees just don't like this posture, maybe just walk your knees in a little bit and just find a place where it feels comfortable for you. So inhaling, exhaling, you'll feel the engagement here of the quadricep muscles working nice and hard and the calf muscles. So inhale, exhale. And then all I'm going to ask you to do is tip forward. So I'm going to start to straighten my legs and I'm going to start to tip forward, 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 dropping my hands down towards the floor. Inhaling, exhaling. So either fingertips, if you can, reaching down towards the floor, or perhaps wherever your back is, just allowing the arms to hang. And then can you bend your knees from here? And start to drop your tailbone down a little bit towards the floor. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, drop your tailbone down. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, drop your tailbone down. And then inhale, come back up. Bend your knees and start to roll up towards the ceiling. Roll your shoulders up, back and down. And we're going to come into warrior two. So I'm turning my left foot in, I'm turning my right foot out, and I'm going to creep my right foot a bit further down the mat so that when I bend that right knee, I can see my toes clearly in front of my knee, and my back leg is nice and straight. Then I'm going to turn my hips so they're in line with the long edge of the mat, but I'm going to make sure that right knee doesn't roll in. It's nice and stacked. Hands together in prayer. Inhale. As you exhale, come wide with your arms and sink down over that front knee, that front foot. If you need to come wider through the feet, then please do. And also try not to lean over that leg. Try and keep the body nice and stacked. Engage through the fingertips. Look down the middle finger on that right hand. Inhale, exhale. Drop your hands down towards you. Simply pivot through your feet, and we'll do the other side. So left knee bends, hips rotate around so they're along the long edge of the mat. Hands in prayer. Inhale as you exhale. Arms come wide. We bend through that front knee, and we look at the middle finger on that left hand. Inhaling, exhaling. Now I'm going to pivot all the way around towards that left foot, dropping my hands down to the floor, either side of the left foot, pivot through the right foot and step back into dog. Finding a nice comfortable dog here. Separating the shoulders. Allowing the hamstrings to find some room. Inhale as you exhale, gently come up onto your toes for a moment. And then drop your heels down towards the mat, your head towards the floor. Soften through your shoulders. One more time, up onto your toes. And then exhale, back, heels to the floor. And drop your knees to the mat. Flatten the feet on the mat, buttocks to heels, resting in pose of a child. Just allowing yourself to be nice and mellow and soft here on the mat. Curled up in either arms in front pose of a hare or arms curled behind, fetal pose of a child. Find your position that you really enjoy to really allow everything to be soft and subtle, relaxed. And then come up, please, to seated. We're going to lie down on our mats now. So just curling your legs around in front of you. Winding your way down into Shavasana for the last few minutes of the class. Allowing yourself to come wide with feet in the outside corners of the mat. Allowing your arms to be away from the sides of the body so there's plenty of room for those ribs to expand, for you to be able to really breathe fully. And then come back into that 3-part breath where we very first started this class. Allowing the belly to balloon, the diaphragm to gently glide down from underneath the ribs. Drawing the breath up into ribs and up into chest, 3-part yogic breath. And then simply emptying from the top down. From the collarbones to the ribs, down to the belly, and then gently drawing up Mula Bandha if you enjoy, using your bandhas at the very end of the exhale, allowing it to soften as the inhale tells you it's ready to come. Don't force anything. Just keep the breath flowing, this lovely relaxing 3-part breath, stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system. This is where we nurture and we heal and we soothe. We calm down the whole fight-flight response, coming into our green zone. Using the simplicity of our breath. And it's free. 3-part breath. Okay, so deepening the breath now. Long, slow breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh the breath away. Breathing in deeply through the nose. Sighing the breath away through an open mouth. And one more in through the nose. And sigh the breath away through an open mouth. Lying in here in Shavasana, we're going to do a little body scan. So staying where you are, lying down, really feeling the contact points you're making with the earth. So I'd like you to bring your attention to the back of the body. Your heels and the contact points they make with the earth. Your calves. The soft curve in the backs of the knees. The thighs. The back of the pelvis, that soft curve in the back, in the lower back, the lumbar region, and that lovely, stable, solid planting of shoulder blades and the upper back into the earth. The whole of the length of each arm from your shoulders, upper arms, elbows, lower arms, wrists, the back of the hands, the contact points they make with the earth. Bring your awareness to the back of your neck, the back of your head, feeling those lovely contact points. And then bringing your awareness up into the crown of your head, your forehead, the temples, the eyebrows, space between the eyebrows, the nose, and the eyes, just balancing either side of the bridge of the nose, just dropping their weight back into their sockets. Coming back to the nose and sliding your awareness down into each nostril, right and left, left and right. Bring awareness to your breath here. So feeling the coolness of the air coming into the tips of the nostrils, breathing in. And that warm air as you breathe out. Stay here with awareness in the tips of your nostrils with breath. Long, slow, comforting breath. Bring your awareness to your cheeks, the outside of your cheeks, skin on your face, then the inside edges of your cheeks and your mouth, the teeth, gums,
and the tongue. Feel the front of the lips, their gentle meeting point, chin, front of the throat, your right and left collarbones, right side of the chest, left side of the chest, and the middle of the chest. Feel the upper abdomen and the lower abdomen. Whole of the front, the sides and the back of the torso. The whole of the pelvis, front, sides and back. And both legs and feet, front, sides and back. Can you go a little bit deeper and feel the insides of your legs? Inside and outside, in sensation, through the whole of the length of each leg and foot. And now the torso, sensation inside and outside of the whole of the length of the torso. Maybe there's a sense of a gurgling tummy or any little flutters or sensations within the torso. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat. And then awareness to both arms, inside and outside, both arms and hands. What's here? Awareness back into whole of the face, whole of the head, inside and outside, sensations in the head. What's here? Maybe nothing. And that's okay too. Whole of the body here in your awareness, in the here, the now, your presence, in this moment, just feeling and appreciating your body for all it does, all it gives you every moment of every day of your life. Take a long, slow breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and sigh your breath away. One more, inhaling through the nose. And a delicious sigh away. Next time you're ready to breathe in, sweep those arms overhead. Allow the back of the hands just to gently drop onto the floor behind you. Have a yawn. Maybe allow the whole of the body to feel that yawn. The mouth joins in. And then when you're ready to exhale, bring those arms down as you sweep your knees up towards you, curling your hands around your shins and giving yourself a little rock side to side, giving yourself a hug. Gently allowing that swaying left to right to become a little bit wider until eventually it's very easy just to rock your body all the way over to the right hand side. It's a daytime class, so it's your solar side. Just being on your side for a moment, and then when you're ready to come up, please do so, up to any comfortable seated position. Bringing your hands together in prayer at your heart center. Just dropping your chin down towards your chest. Another little moment of appreciation and gratitude for all those lovely postures, those lovely openings through the body's meridians, nadis, channels, opening up. Just freeing any restriction, any sense of tightness and tension. Allowing the breath to just flow. And then thumbs come to forehead for lovely kind thoughts to yourself and others. To your lips for lovely kind words to yourself and others. And to your heart space for lovely kind deeds to yourself and others. Om Shanti. Wishing you a lovely day.